Hi guys, I hope you're all doing good and thank you for being interested in this tutorial, which I will talk about the new ability that Figma added in the last release in 2022. I mean, the last release that was in 2022. I don't know if it will be the last one in this year, but maybe or maybe not, which is called Component Properties, which I know as a fact that created quite a big confusion and kind of like, I don't know, people asking what is the best way to create components now. Should I implement it in the design system? Yes, no, what is the best thing to do, etc., etc. So let's kind of like drill down and understand which are or what are actually the new abilities and see the differences. And like everything in life, it has pros and cons too. Variants and component properties, and we can use them in some cases both together. So let's see how it goes on. Okay, so I have two components here. As you see, they look identical. I'm clicking on this one. I can switch the icon off and on. That's one. And this one I can do the same. I can switch the icon off and on. Okay, basically, I mean, visually there is no difference at all. But if we go up here, we see that these components were created. Let's bring them a bit closer to their creators. So this component, I mean, this one was created with the new component properties, and this one was created the good old-fashioned variant way, which I love actually better. Spoiler, yes, I do. Anyway, but you know, as I said, it's not all bad, it's not all good. Let's understand how it works, and then you can decide what works out best for you and take it from here. So let's see how it works. Let's create one. By the way, I am assuming that you are familiar with components and variants. Okay, even if you don't, so I guess you will understand some from this tutorial, which I will talk, of course, about variants. But if you don't, I have other tutorials which the links for them will be in this video description, so you can go ahead and see them and get a better idea of variants, and let's go on. Anyway, so I have this component. Let's make it something like that. Let's give it a 50 and a 220. Yeah, that's okay. And okay, and now let's give it a color. Or we can leave it white one, it doesn't matter right now. Let's give it just text. And I will take, let's say, you know what, let's take it from here. I already created them, so let's take this one. I'm gonna copy it and put it right. Sorry, I'm gonna put it right here inside, and these two, I can do it with auto layout, without auto layout. Honestly speaking, it doesn't really matter that much. Let's give it in auto layout. That's okay. I mean, it doesn't matter. The way that it's created, it's the same. I mean, the way that it looks is going to be the same. And I will give it a fixed width because I don't want it kind of like shrinking and stretching when I hit the icon on and off. You can if you want to, but let's see how it goes. So I'm having a component now. I created a component. Let's call it a button 10. Okay, and I'm making it a component. So this is the component now, and I want to add the ability to switch the icon on and off. Actually, what I am doing is I am adding a Boolean property to it. Boolean meaning on, off, true, false. You can switch it on and off. So properties, and I'm gonna hit the plus and add now a Boolean property. See that this one now has changed as well, and adding variants is gonna happen a bit in a different way if we are doing it from here. Boolean, I'm hitting the Boolean, the name will be icon, and now it's gonna be true. Create property. Okay, so I created this property. Now I have this indicator which tells me not used within component yet because I didn't apply it to any layer in this component. Okay, I'm gonna double click and select this layer of the icon, and now I can apply to this layer, see from here, apply Boolean property. I'm applying this to the icon. Okay, so icon, I'm applying this layer, the property that I created, which is called icon. Now I applied this property to this layer, and now if we're duplicating this for an instance of this component, you see that now I have the switch on and off of this icon. Okay, I can switch it on and off just like that. Now, another thing that I can do is I can apply, take the text, okay, and I can apply a label property to it, which actually this one is pretty good, and I will show and explain why. I mean, it's okay. It's not that it didn't like create something, a very big ability on top of whatever it was, but okay, let me show it anyway. So I'm selecting the component again, hitting the plus and creating a text property. I will call it label, and the value, I'm gonna give the same value which I have on the button right now, which is text. Okay, create property. I'm gonna just make it align center, okay, to text box itself. And now I'm doing the same thing. You see, I'm gonna scroll down and look for the, again, I'm gonna actually apply this property to the text layer. Okay, so let's see, where is the oh, sorry, I have to double click. You see, sometimes even I get confused a bit with it. So I have to double click the text. I was looking for it, but I didn't select it yet. So of course I do. And this is the content, okay? And I'm gonna apply text property. I'm hitting this icon and I'm applying the label property, which I just created. Okay, good. Now if you see, the plus is, and I will show you in a minute why it's a plus. In some cases, I guess, when I'm selecting this instance, I can change its content from here. Okay, I can just write, let's say, button. Okay, and I am changing the content from here, meaning that I don't have to double click and select the text layer and change it. I can do that, by the way. I can still double click it and write here text. Okay, and when I'll hit enter, you will, sorry, not like that. No, yeah, okay. And when I release that, so when I select it, you will see that the label changed to text. So I can do it either from here or from here. The good thing about it, actually two good things came with that, which this I can say it's pretty cool. Okay, so when I select it, see that in the inspect panel, the text of this layer, of this, of this component can be copied actually straight from here. Okay, which here, by the way, you will see that I need to double click the text inside the component, and then I can actually copy it from here. Okay, it's not a big difference, it's not a major difference, but it's kind of like maybe more easy to work with for the programmers. Okay, that's one. The second thing that you can do is that you can bulk edit, meaning edit text of a few components together. So let's duplicate this one. Okay, let's say that now I have let's say I really have 3 instances. I'm selecting them all together, and now because they have the same text, I can just do like button. Okay, and then you see that I can change them all together, which that is pretty cool. Okay, so bulk editing component content, yes, that's something new, which is pretty nice. Okay, now let's see where it gets a bit more complicated. Okay, up until now it was good. By the way, we do have another property which is actually, I mean, this one I checked, I didn't really understand the big advantage in using that, which is called instance. Okay, let's see how it works. So plus, and I'm gonna select an instance swap. Okay, and pick instance. I'm gonna go for page 2 because I am in page 2. I'm gonna go for, yeah, let's select this one, the button icons. By the way, that this is an icon with variants. I can still use the variants on that icon. Okay, I select it and create property. Okay, so you will see that here, by the way, I can still use the different variants that I have on this icon, but I can also select a different from here. I can just click here and go to the instances and select a different one. Honestly speaking, I mean, I don't see the big plus in doing that. I mean, I can also double click here. This is the component that I created with variants, and I can still do the same from here. So honestly speaking, I mean, maybe I'm missing something, but I don't see the big plus in using this property. I don't know. Again, it's kind of like early days of using it. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. Maybe there's a plus to it. Okay, but let's go with the buts, where it starts to get messy. First of all, I would like to point out and put it on the table. When you are using component properties, you cannot do it an interactive component because you are not working with variants. So you don't have anything to interact with, okay? Because the interaction happens between one frame to another, meaning hover, on click, whatever, doesn't matter. Any interactive component needs to work with variants because you are interacting from one frame to another. Using component properties, you can't do it. Some say big plus, I'm saving a lot of space, or actually I don't have to use a lot of variants, etc., but I don't know. To me, by the way, if you ask me, I love the fact that when I have the variance spread and I'm looking at the component, I understand immediately all its states, what it has, what it doesn't, etc. I don't know, I still like it. I like better working like that, and I like the ability to do interactive components, which I do a lot, and I work with that a lot. Okay, some people don't use it or need it. So anyway, whatever works for you guys, really, whatever works for you better, it's definitely great. Okay, so let's say that now I want to add another property to this button, which is a stroke. Okay, so now I cannot add a design property with these properties. Okay, so that means that I have to create a variant to this component, which up until now I used only component properties. So that means that I'm hitting the plus, and I can do it either from here or just click here, and then I'm gonna have a variant. By the way, I have noticed, which I tried it before, that when I do the variants from here, something kind of weird happens. I mean, it doesn't give me another variant. Okay, I mean, I just have the component with one variant inside it. Okay, so that is kind of like a bit weird, but anyway, you have to duplicate it, and then I have to make this frame higher and put this one here. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it happened a bit in a weird way, but anyway, doesn't matter. So now actually I will give it a stroke here. I'm going to add a stroke to it, and now I have actually I can give it, okay, I'm going to add another actually property which was made from variants. Okay, so now we're gonna have property that were made as a component properties and another property which is made in variants. Yeah, that sounds pretty confusing actually. Anyway, yeah, that's the way it is. So look what happens now. I'm gonna select this component, I'm gonna hit the plus, and I'm gonna create a variant property. Okay, so I'm gonna call this stroke. I'm gonna leave it on default, and then I'm gonna hit on create property. Now I'm selecting this one, which is called default, and the stroke I'm gonna write, this can be no, that's okay, no. And now I will call this one, this will be the same name. I'm gonna call it copy and default. Lazy of writing it, but anyway, and the component I'm gonna hit yes. So now check this out. We have this component which we have a stroke which was made as a property from variants. We can hit it on and off, and we have the icon property which was made in the component properties. Okay, can hit it on and off. So as you see, sorry, it starts to get a bit messy. I mean, you're gonna have a situation which some properties were created with component properties and some properties were created with variants. Okay, so that gets pretty messy. I'm saying these are very simple components, dead simple, okay? Imagine in more complex systems and you're gonna have like a much more complex components with a lot of variants. So I don't know. I mean, I would, honestly speaking, up until now, I still work with variants. I didn't adopt these abilities yet of the component properties. I don't really see a need to it yet. I never say never, time will tell, but anyway, I'm still not there. I guess maybe it's the way I'm used to work, or I don't know, I just don't see the great let's say advantage of using it. I was kind of like looking at the word in my mind. Yeah, so the great advantage of using it. And I'm still working with variants, honestly speaking. So let's give just another quick example and kind of like better, or show just, you know, another example of properties. So let's say that here I'm creating kind of like a content card, something like that. And let's say that here we're gonna have an image. That's okay, that's kind of an image for me. That's okay. A very beautiful image. Yeah, let's do something like that just to feel the yeah, I'm gonna do a placeholder of an image. Yeah, bear with me for a sec. Yeah, that's gonna be something like that, and even give it the famous image sun. Something like that. Yeah, so that is going to be an image. Oh, I did it a rectangle, not a frame. Shame on me. 1 second, I'm gonna hit the frame. I'm gonna use a shortcut and make it a frame. We'll call it image holder. Okay, and I'm gonna take the properties of this one and paste them on the frame, and then I'm gonna delete this. Okay, so I actually got the same thing, and yeah, something like that. So that's gonna be the image. Let's do a quick beloved lorem ipsum. Some people hate it, but I love it. Yeah, just, you know, for design, to see how the font weight and the size, the weight, the color, etc. Yeah, it's okay. Anyway, so we're gonna have we have a text here, and let's give it, let's say, a button, something like that. Okay, something like that. It's gonna be like this one. It's too harsh. Yeah, something like that. And let's give it an auto layout. Shift A, by the way, or just right click and add auto layout. Okay, so we have something like that, and I'm going to have it aligned to the right, and that's okay. So now let's call it a content card, and I'm gonna make it a component. So I can take this image, sorry, you see I'm still confused a bit, plus boolean, and let's call it an image, true. Okay, I'm gonna hit another one, boolean text, or let's call it yeah, label, yeah, that's okay. I'm fighting with myself anyway. Yeah, and a button. So I'm using three booleans actually, btn. Yeah, okay, so now double click, I will apply this layer. I will apply the image property that I made just right now, this one, which is actually better like this. I will apply the sorry I will apply, sorry, I'm not working with the content now, which is not my goal here. I want to give it a boolean, so that's a label. Yeah, it can be maybe paragraph, text, it doesn't matter. Anyway, and the button, I'm gonna apply also the button. So now actually if I'm copying this, let's put it here, I'm making an instance of this component, sorry. So I have these three switches, which I can switch the image off and I can switch it on. I can switch off and on the text, same as the button, and I can use this this component wherever I need, with the properties or the parts that I need on my screens. Okay, so actually we saved, kind of, if I can describe it like that, having more variants, because to create this one with variants you will need, actually, let's see how much variants do we need for it. So we need, okay, so we'll take this one and I am going to detach it. Okay, detach instance, and okay, so that's one. Let's give it a content card, 3 items. I'm just gonna give it a short name, kind of, content card. This is going to be image plus text. Yeah, I'm just kind of making it a jungle, but anyway, it's something just to understand. Yeah, it's okay. And this is going to be, let's say, text plus button, and this is going to be image. Okay, image plus button. Okay, and now of course I will make them. Okay, this is 3 items. Now this is image and text, so I will hide the button, and this is iText, which is interesting. It's like iPhone iText. Yeah, I like it. Why not? Let's leave it an iText. Okay, so that text and a button. So that means that we are hiding the image, and here I'm hiding the text. Okay, so actually we have 4 variants instead of 1. Okay, so that's again kind of a plus, I don't know, but on the other hand, I mean, they're not variants yet, but of course I can make them that. Okay, so anyway, so yes, I do have here 4 variants, but on the other hand, immediately I see everything that this component has to offer. But there's also a but. Now let's see another plus of this component. Again, as I said, there are pros and cons to everything. Let's say that in all these, okay, I want also a another state of it, or another design variant to it, and all of them to have also a stroke or a shadow, let's say. Okay, so here what I can do actually is take this one, okay, and I just need one more variant with a stroke. Okay, let's call it this is default, copy, again, lazy me, and paste. And here I'm gonna add a stroke. Okay, so just by adding a stroke to doing another variant, I still have all the other properties, but I don't need to create, I mean, for all these to have each one with a stroke, I need to create another 4 variants to have each one of them with a stroke. And here actually, let's give it a proper property. A proper property, that's nice. Variant, again, as I did before, stroke, it can be shadow, color, anything you just think of. Okay, I'm talking about a design property. So make the difference between a property that you apply to a layer, okay, as I did for the icon, the text, the image, and so on, and property that you apply as a design property. Any design property, you need to make another variant to this property, sorry, to this component that has already component properties. Okay, so this one, as I did before, we can false, and this one can be true. Yes, no, true, false, off, on, same. Okay, so here, now with the instance of this component, again, we have the stroke on, off, and we have, okay, with the stroke, without an image, without this, without that, there's gonna be nothing. Oh yeah, I kind of like, okay. Anyway, so now that you guys understand all the differences between them, I mean, using variants versus properties, so I think that there's a plus and a minus to each one of them. The big minus, as I said, is that you cannot do you cannot do interactive components when using only component properties. If you do want to do it in interactive component, so you do have to make or to break it out to variants. Okay, so that's it. I think that I don't want this component. See, I got already mixed with all my words. I don't want this tutorial to be longer. I think it's quite understood. If you have more questions, you can definitely write in the comments of this tutorial, and I will be happy to answer. If you think that or you think about another tutorial that you want me to make which is related either to components or about anything else, then just tell me and I will be very happy to create it and do so. And that's it, guys. I hope that was helpful and understandable. Yeah, that's about it, I guess. Variants versus component properties, and component properties with variants, and a salad of all of them together. And again, I'm just getting back to the question. If you ask me, what do you suggest? Do I start applying component properties to existing design system and start messing with my components there? I personally, and that's me, definitely say no way. I mean, I wouldn't do that. I don't think that there is a need to mess with already made components with variants that were made good and are working good. If you're asking me if to use component properties in your design system, well, it's up to you guys. Whatever works best for you depends on the needs, on the company, on what is decided, what you are deciding as the ones who are dealing with the design system. Me personally, still, as I said, I'm not really there. I'm sticking to variants, at least for now. I don't know, days, I guess the time will tell. Days will come and I will see how I feel about it. That's what I feel about it for right now. So yeah, so these were kind of like my last words on that. So thank you so much for watching this tutorial, and I will see you, I guess, in the next one. Be good, do good things, and see you in the next tutorial. Thank you so much. Bye for now, guys.